Hi everyone, Jon Friedberg here with a very special episode of Stacking Chips. I'm here in the Card Player Studios right now, but last night I went over to Gavin Smith's house for a little barbecue and had a chance to catch up with Phil Hellmuth and talk about his bracelet number 11. So here's what he had to say.
Are you taping us? Okay, I'm not saying that.
Edit
that out.
I'm here with Phil Hellmuth. We're over at Gavin Smith's place, just hanging out, playing some pool, having a barbecue, eating some steaks, and of course playing a little bit of online poker. Phil Hellmuth yesterday took down bracelet number 11. Congratulations, man. Thanks a lot for coming on the show. So tell us about it, man. How do you feel?
Well, I'm feeling good. You know, this is the 1989 bracelet here. This is what the 07 ones look like. Now, I've given away all my bracelets except for this one, and this one goes to my sister Molly. This is a great story because it's bracelet number 11. I won it on June 11th. My sister Molly, who gets the bracelet, was born 11/11/71. So
really?
Pretty freaky.
That is.
She pointed
cool.
all that the night before, and I'm like, wow, maybe I'm going to win this thing.
Sounds like that movie. Was it 23?
I didn't watch it.
Okay, I didn't see it either. I just remember seeing the previews about those two numbers kept coming up. That's pretty cool. So yesterday you guys played on a like a webcast sort of TV setting. Is that right?
Yep.
It was not aired on ESPN.
It was not aired on ESPN. There was a big fight between Bluff and ESPN because ESPN wanted to do something with it, and Bluff won the fight because they had the contract.
Right. So were there any leading up to the final table or at the final table, were there any sort of monumental hands, either big laydowns you made, big bluffs, big hands you played?
There was a hand that was interesting where I think I had 2 8s. I limped in. A guy limped behind me, and it came Jack, Jack, King. And I made a little bet at it, and the next guy called. He had a king. And then this young player raised it up, and I threw my hand away, and I was steaming a little bit, even though it was a tiny pot, because one more time I'd limp with a medium pair, and it didn't work, you know. But I lost the absolute minimum. And the kid showed the deuce 7, and had everybody laughing, ha 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 ha. And I just said, check it in 2 hours, son. You know, I mean, he was playing way too fast, and it was obvious he wasn't. You know, it's very difficult playing that fast to make it all the way down to the final table, and then no one playing that fast wins. They always finish 4th or 5th because it's just not really. It's what everybody thinks you're supposed to do. It's a great irony there. So I like to play slow and let them all play fast, and let's just see if their Jack 9s can beat my Ace Jacks. You know what I mean? They usually don't.
Right. So did you have a big stack coming into the final table, and throughout most of day 2, were you sort of at the top of the leaderboard in chips?
I was. I came into day 2 with like 72,000. I was all in one time 4 hours into day 1, and then I was never all in again. Never even close, actually. I did win one key hand where I was lucky. I think I had 110 of my 160,000 in there with Ace King. The guy had opened for 25, and I moved in, and he called me with 6s, which I hated his call. But he was right, and it came Ace, and so that was as close to all in as I'd been. And then from there, I just seemed to zoom. I like it when I'm not all in, and then we got to the final table, and we were 10-handed. Someone won a big pot, and to bust somebody, and then I lost the chip lead briefly. We came back, and like on the second hand, I beat the chip leader for a pot, and I took the chip lead like right away back, and. There were some players. I mean, there was some really good play there. I really enjoyed having Morgan Machina there, who I actually thought was the class of the rest of the field. But we go way back. I know how tough he is. I've seen some of the beats he's taken on television too. But I enjoyed having him there because he's like, we want sushi. We're sequestered. We went in and there was no food. We want sushi, and being sequestered turned out to be really good because we were forced to eat together, hang out together, and it was very relaxing for me, to be in that environment, and it just seemed to make it easier. I thought it might be worse, but I discovered that Rick is a really good guy, and Morgan and Adrian are old friends of ours. His wife Adrian, and it was pretty pleasant and smooth. It was like the funnest final table I was ever at, as far as no one was a jerk except me for the first half hour.
So you obviously have a ton of experience at final tables. Do you find yourself having more or less comfort with a big stack, being sort of chip leader? Do you find that it's easier to play on a short stack?
This was the smoothest tournament of my life as far as final tables go, because I just picked up hands at the right time, and I just seemed to go fairly steadily up. Had to make one great call with ace-10 against a really aggressive player. What was his name?
Scott Clements?
Scott Clements, who Morgan said played beautifully late on day 2. And he came in and he was playing a good game, and he got a little rambunctious on a couple of hands. And the big hand was I opened for 200,000 and he raised 750,000 more, and I had ace-10 offsuit. And in my mind, I kept thinking is ace-9 or ace-8. I couldn't imagine that he had ace-jack. And so I called him, and he had ace-5, and my hand held up. Just because I made a great call doesn't mean I have to win. The river was a 5, but thank God I'd hit a 10 on the flop. You know,
that would have been disgusting.
Yeah,
I think the whole room would have heard that one, even though you guys were sequestered.
Well, the whole room did hear it when I win, because I was yes. I shouted yes. And I think a lot of people heard that. So all right,
what a great feeling. So I did see pictures online with Johnny Chan and Doyle Brunson presenting you with a bracelet or whatever. How do you think they feel?
So cool. I mean, I know that Doyle was 100% rooting for me, and Johnny at least 80% now. At least 80% was rooting for me. And the fact of the matter is, I'd like to see them both win a bracelet. It would be fine with me if we all had 11. You know what I mean? I think it's good for poker.
Yeah.
Given the outcome of none of us winning a bracelet, okay, as possibility A, none of us winning a bracelet, and possibility B, Chan or Doyle having one more than me, one of them having 11, I would choose possibility B. I thought it was just good for all of us if one of us won. So I can honestly say I was rooting for those guys, and I'm not rooting against them even one iota. And they know it. And in fact, Doyle bet 400,000 on me to win a bracelet, so he did pretty well. A lot of crazy action this year on the bracelets. I mean, people are betting millions of dollars on who's going to win.
Yeah, I've heard about some side bets. In fact, I won't mention his name, but I know a couple of guys that are well-known names in the tournament circuit that didn't do so well yesterday when you won your bracelet, because I guess you had a bet against both of them that you would win a bracelet before one of them won a bracelet.
Yeah, I think my boy Russ Hamilton, the 1994 champ, I better get that right or he's going to be mad at me. There's at 92. Russ, I love you. But I know that Russ was kind of happy because Daniel lost a bet, But I get along with Daniel really well, and I get along with Russ really well. So, but I mean, yeah, everybody knows who's betting on particular sides. But I told Daniel, don't bet against me, Daniel. You deserve to lose if you bet against me.
Well, there's really something to be said about, a lot of people sort of have negative things to say about the fact that the bracelets won in the olden days had such small fields and therefore wasn't as much of a challenge as winning a bracelet today. But I mean, you've come through huge in the last 2 years winning. Your field yesterday had like 2,600 players, and then last year also had at least 1,500 or something, if I remember right.
Yeah, I mean, last year I had a first, a second, a third, and a sixth. I had a first, second, and third, and no limit. So, big fields, big fields. So, yeah, I mean, I guess some of us old great players can play. I mean, I think the fallacy there is that we were still playing against the best players in the world, even though the fields were only 200 or 300 back then. And for me, unfortunately, I didn't get to play a lot of short fields in the old days. Now they're short fields. But in the old days, I won all my bracelets in Hold'em. So there would oftentimes still be 100, 200, 300 people in every tournament when I was winning bracelets. Some of the guys, when they'd win the deuce to 7 titles or whatever, had to be 20 guys,
Right.
There were some easier bracelets to pick up back then.
So are you anxious to win a bracelet in a non-Hold'em event in Omaha or Stud or something, or is that not so important?
I should have had an Omaha 8 or better bracelet by now, and I think I should have had a Raz bracelet by now. I don't have a chance to play them very much because now there's so much Hold'em, and I know, I feel like I'm a great Raz player. And I don't like my Omaha 8 or better play in the side games as much. I know what to do, and sometimes I get impatient. I'll play the hands I'm not supposed to, whereas I don't in the tournaments. And so tournament Omaha 8 or better is one of my best games. And I made a bunch of final tables in the last 7 years of the series in that game. And but I haven't had a chance to play a single Omaha 8 or better. I mean, I think maybe once last year I played. And I look forward to it, but I keep making it. Last year I kept making it to day 2, and I kept missing all these other tournaments. It's a good problem to have, by the way.
Yeah, of course it is. So do you plan on playing in many more events this year?
Well, I have the next 2 days off. Today's Tuesday, so I have Wednesday and Thursday off. My son graduates from 8th grade. Last year I didn't leave the series. I just came for 7 weeks, and my family came to me. This year I'm obviously going to go back for the 8th graders' graduation, and it's going to be nice. And they'll be right back down to visit me Monday. They were here on the weekend, and my wife flew in again yesterday. So I'll be focusing on Friday's 2000 No Limit, and I'm going to come in well rested, which is a huge bonus because I'll be home for a couple of days now.
Especially, I agree 100% with all these tournaments running 2 a day. Sometimes they're running 6 simultaneously. It's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
It really takes a lot of rest to come in and be focused for these events. So you've had a lot of success with your books, with your videos, lots of other things. Do you have any new training tools coming out that we should look forward to?
Well, I have this white belt to black belt course at iamplify.com that people seem to love, and I put my heart and soul into that. That is the most advanced strategy that I've ever given away. The white belt to black belt course and the black belt sections, some really good stuff there. So, and I know that history judges me by what I do, so it has to be the best I can make it. Some of my books, like Play Poker Like the Pros, I took to a very advanced level, but I didn't discuss final table tactics or some of the really weird, whacked out theories that I talk about in the black belt course, some of the stuff that you can use, and that's going to be a fun course for people to take. Yeah, I've been lucky. The cell phone game has 958,000 users in the U.S.
Wow.
It's sick. It's just sick. We're now launching the Phil Hellmuth 2007 cell phone game in Europe and America. Then the Phil Hellmuth 2008 comes in 9 months. Yeah, my book hit the bestseller list. It's just crazy. So much good stuff happening.
And I imagine with the 11th bracelet, even more things will be on your plate.
I told everybody, I said, look, winning this bracelet should make me $10 million if I'm the first guy to 11, and I believe that. So another $10 million coming soon. I'm not sure how, but maybe I'll sign a deal with, we're talking to Burger King and Kentucky Fried Chicken, and all these different big corporate sponsors are interested in doing business.
I hope you do. That would be excellent for the game.
I passed on the Kentucky Fried Chicken, but I think someone did it. Someone did.
That's great. That's great. Well, Phil, thanks again for hanging out, talking a little bit, sharing your details of bracelet number 11. Congratulations again, and thanks for coming on the show.
All right, man.
So we had a great time over there at Gavin's house last night. Gavin, thanks again for having us, and thanks for the steaks, man. They were great. And Phil, congratulations again for bracelet number 11. What a landmark for you, obviously, and for the poker world in general. Just a great accomplishment. Congratulations again. So that's it for today's episode of Stacking Chips. Make sure to tune in tomorrow and every day throughout the World Series for more strategy talk, interviews, special episodes, and more right here on Card Player TV. And make sure to keep those emails coming in to stackingchips@cardplayer.com. From Jon Friedberg, that's all for me. Good luck, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.